In the bustling halls of Atlanta International Airport, where thousands of travelers rush past each other like streams merging into rivers, even the tallest trees can't escape the scrutiny of airport security. On this particular morning, the sun hadn't yet peeked over the horizon when Shaquille O'Neal, standing at his iconic 7-1, made his way through the terminal, his presence both familiar and extraordinary. The morning had started like any other. The NBA legend, despite his towering achievements both on and off the court, was just another traveler making his way through the security checkpoint. The early hours meant fewer fans asking for autographs, a small blessing that allowed him to maintain some semblance of normalcy in his very public life. As the line inched forward, Shaq observed the practiced dance of travelers, shoes off, laptops out, pockets emptied. He'd done this countless times before, yet today would prove different. The security staff, led by a serious-looking officer named William Green, seemed particularly attentive to their duties that morning. The regular security lane moved steadily, processing travelers with mechanical efficiency. Business people in pressed suits, families with drowsy children, and college students with oversized backpacks all passed through without incident. Then came Shaq's turn. "Sir," William Green called out, his voice carrying that distinctive TSA. "Authority, you've been randomly selected for additional screening." The word random hung in the air like a basketball frozen at the apex of its arc. Several travelers glanced up from their phones, recognition dawning on their faces as they realized who was being pulled aside. A few suppressed smiles already, anticipating what might come next. Shaq, who had spent years perfecting the art of handling public situations with grace and humor, raised an eyebrow. The corners of his mouth twitched upward, a telltale sign that something memorable was about to unfold. The security officer, maintaining his professional demeanor, gestured toward the separate screening area. The NBA legend's eyes sparkled with mischief as he looked down at the officer, way down, and then around at the other travelers passing. He threw. Among them was Alexander Hall, a businessman who had just cleared security without any additional screening, despite carrying 3 devices and wearing a heavy winter coat. What happened next would become one of those viral moments that remind us why Shaq remains one of sport's most beloved personalities. Instead of showing frustration or pulling the celebrity card, he decided to turn this moment into something that would make everyone's day a little brighter. "Random, huh?" Shaq's deep voice carried across the security area, warm with humor rather than annoyance. "About as random as me dunking on a 7-foot rim." The comment, delivered with perfect timing, caused several nearby passengers to burst into laughter, including Isabella Turner, a young mother who had been struggling to keep her toddler entertained in line. Even Officer Green's professional facade cracked slightly, a small smile breaking through as he maintained his position. The tension that often accompanies these situations dissolved into something more akin to a comedy show, with Shaq taking center stage, a role he had mastered long ago. As he stepped into the screening area, Shaq continued his impromptu performance. "You know what's really random? Me fitting into one of those airplane bathrooms. That's random. This," he gestured to himself, all 7 feet and 1 inch of him, "this is about as random as sunshine." In Florida, the gathering crowd, which now included James Nelson, an off-duty pilot, and Sophia Mitchell, a flight attendant heading to her next assignment, couldn't help but be drawn into the moment. Here was one of basketball's biggest stars, turning what could have been an awkward or confrontational situation into a masterclass in handling life's little inconveniences with grace and humor. As the security officer began his additional screening procedures, Shaq kept the mood light, engaging with everyone around him. He asked Oliver Phillips, a young basketball fan who had been watching wide-eyed, if he played ball. When the boy nodded enthusiastically, Shaq offered some quick advice about following your dreams and staying focused, turning a routine security check into an impromptu mentoring session. "You know what makes me feel secure?" Shaq asked, no one in particular as the screening continued. "Knowing that our airport security team is so thorough that they won't let anyone slip by, even if they have to look way up, to check them." This brought another round of chuckles from the growing audience, including Benjamin Carter, a senior citizen who had been looking rather grumpy about the whole security process until that moment. The beauty of the situation lay not just in Shaq's humor, but in his ability to transform what could have been a contentious moment into one of connection and joy. As he went through the additional screening procedures with exaggerated care, he continued to engage with everyone around him, asking Emma Roberts about her destination, complimenting Charlotte Anderson on her basketball team jersey, and trading friendly banter with the security staff. When Officer Green completed the screening, finding nothing of concern, as expected, Shaq couldn't resist one final quip. "Well, now that we've established I'm not hiding anything, which would be pretty hard given my size, can I get back to being randomly tall?" The laughter that followed was genuine and warm, a shared moment of joy in the otherwise mundane process of airport security. As he gathered his belongings, Shaq made sure to shake hands with the security team, showing that there were no hard feelings, only good humor and mutual respect. What made this moment special wasn't just the humor or the star power. It was the way Shaq handled a situation that many would find frustrating or unfair. Instead of taking offense at being randomly selected, despite being one of the most recognizable figures in sports, he chose to turn it into an opportunity to spread joy and understanding. As he made his way toward his gate, several passengers could be seen pulling out their phones, undoubtedly sharing what they had just witnessed on social media. Among them was Liam Wright, a social media influencer who had captured the entire interaction, ensuring that this moment would soon be shared. With millions, the impact of Shaq's response rippled through the terminal that morning. Henry Green, another security officer coming on shift, was already hearing about it from his colleagues. Olivia Sanchez, a coffee shop barista with a clear view of the security checkpoint, had watched the whole thing unfold and was retelling it to her customers, each telling adding to the legend of what was quickly becoming a viral moment. What made this incident particularly special was how it highlighted the humanity in all of us. Here was Shaquille O'Neal, NBA legend, successful businessman, and cultural icon, handling a potentially uncomfortable situation with the same grace and humor that had made him beloved both on and off the court. This wasn't just about a basketball star being singled out for additional screening. It was about choosing how to respond to life's little ironies and inconveniences. In those few minutes, Shaq demonstrated that it's not the situation itself that defines us, but how we choose to handle it. As the morning progressed, the story began spreading through the airport like wildfire. Ava Mitchell, a gate agent at a nearby terminal, overheard passengers discussing it. Michael Turner, a pilot preparing for his next flight, received the video from a colleague. Each sharing added to the ripple effect of positivity that Shaq had created. The incident served as a reminder that even in the most routine situations, we have the power to choose our response. We can react with anger or frustration, or we can, like Shaq, choose to transform the moment into something positive that lifts everyone around us. As Shaq finally settled into his gate area, checking his phone and responding to messages, he couldn't help but notice how his simple choice to handle the situation with humor had affected those around him. The security checkpoint, often a place of stress and tension, had been transformed, if only temporarily, into a space of shared laughter and human connection. This was the magic of Shaq, Not just his size, not just his achievements, but his ability to connect with people and turn ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. As he waited for his flight, he could see people still smiling and chatting about what had happened, the positive energy he had created continuing to spread throughout the terminal. It was a perfect example of how choosing humor over hostility, understanding over anger, and connection over confrontation can transform not just a moment, but the entire atmosphere around us. In an era where viral videos often capture conflict and controversy, this was a reminder of how powerful positive interactions can be. As the sun finally rose over the airport, casting long shadows through the terminal windows, the story of Shaq's random security check was already making its way across social media platforms. What could have been just another celebrity airport incident had become something more, a masterclass in handling life's little absurdities with grace, humor, and style. The ripple effect of Shaq's security checkpoint encounter spread faster than a fast break down the court. As Amelia Clark sat in the terminal coffee shop, editing the video she'd captured on her phone, she couldn't help but smile at the pure authenticity of the moment. Her hands moved swiftly across her screen, knowing that this was the kind of content that would resonate with millions. Within hours, the video had begun its journey across the digital landscape. William Anderson, a popular sports commentator, was among the first to share it with his followers. This is why Shaq remains one of the most beloved figures in sports, turning a random security check into a masterclass of handling awkward situations with grace and humor. Shaq Security, class act. The morning news cycle, always hungry for positive content, latched onto the story immediately. Isabella Mitchell, a morning show host, played the clip during her broadcast, her voice carrying genuine admiration as she narrated the scene for viewers who were just starting their day. In a world where celebrity airport incidents often make headlines for all the wrong reasons, Shaquille O'Neal shows us once again why he's in a league of his own. Back at the airport, the aftermath of Shaq's encounter continued to influence the atmosphere. Noah Phillips, a security supervisor who had just started his shift, noticed a marked difference in how passengers were approaching the screening process. The usual tension that hung in the air like a heavy cloud had been replaced by something lighter, more communal. Lucas Green, one of the younger TSA agents, found himself fielding questions from curious passengers about the incident. Was he really that tall in person? Did he actually make everyone laugh? Each retelling added another layer to the story, transforming a routine security check into an almost mythical encounter. The video's journey across social media platforms gained momentum with each passing hour. Emma Robinson, a social media analyst, tracking viral trends, watched in amazement as the engagement metrics skyrocketed. What makes this video so special, she would later write in her Viral Trends report, is its perfect blend of authenticity, humor, and human connection. Charlotte Baker, waiting for her connecting flight, showed the video to her seatmate, James Hall. "See, this is how you handle being singled out," she commented, sparking a conversation about their own airport experiences. All around the terminal, similar scenes played out as the video became a catalyst for connection between strangers. The corporate world took notice too. Alexander Turner, a marketing executive for a major airline, immediately recognized the potential impact of this moment on public perception of airport security procedures. When someone of Shaq's stature handles a situation with such grace and humor, it changes the narrative entirely. By midday, the video had caught the attention of major news networks. Sophia Roberts, a veteran entertainment reporter, prepared a segment that would contextualize this moment within Shaq's larger legacy of public interactions. "What we're seeing here isn't just a funny airport moment," she explained to her producer. It's a masterclass in emotional intelligence and public relations. The comment sections across various platforms filled with personal stories and reactions. Evelyn Nelson shared her own experience of being randomly selected, while Henry Mitchell praised Shaq's ability to diffuse tension with humor. The conversation expanded beyond the immediate incident to broader discussions about celebrity behavior, public interactions, and the power of choosing positivity. Social media influencers began creating their own content inspired by the incident. Harper Anderson posted a thoughtful analysis of why the video resonated so strongly with people. In an era where we're constantly bombarded with negativity, watching someone handle a potentially awkward situation with such grace and humor reminds us of our own power to choose our reactions. The TSA's official social media accounts, managed by Olivia Hall, carefully crafted a response that struck the perfect balance between maintaining security protocols and acknowledging the humor of the situation. Security is our priority, but we appreciate when passengers, no matter their height, handle screening with patience and good humor. Security with a smile. As the video continued to gain traction, behavioral experts weighed in on its significance. Benjamin Scott, a professor of social psychology, appeared on several news programs to discuss why this particular incident had struck such a chord with the public. What we're seeing is the power of transformational leadership in an everyday situation. Shaq took what could have been a moment of conflict and turned it into a moment of community. The memes began flooding the internet by early afternoon. Liam Perez's edit of Shaq being randomly selected among a crowd of average-height travelers became an instant classic. Emma Green's side-by-side comparison of Shaq at the security checkpoint versus Shaq trying to fit in an airplane bathroom went viral within hours. Aviation industry professionals joined the conversation as well. William Carter, a veteran pilot, shared the video with his crew, using it as an example of how to maintain composure and professionalism in potentially tense situations. "This is the kind of interaction that makes everyone's day better," he noted. In his captain's log, the impact extended beyond social media. Isabella Wright, a kindergarten teacher, used the story in her classroom discussion about choosing kindness and humor over anger. "Even when something seems unfair," she explained to her wide-eyed students, "we can choose to make it into something positive." By late afternoon, the video had inspired countless discussions about human interaction in public spaces. Michael Sanchez, a sociology professor, began drafting an article about how viral moments like this one serve as modern parables about handling daily challenges with grace. The security officers involved in the original incident found themselves minor celebrities. Noah Young, who had been operating the scanner, received countless messages from friends and family who had spotted him in the background of the viral video. "I've never seen someone handle additional screening with such class," he told his colleagues. During their break, the ripple effect continued to spread through various communities. Ava Phillips, a basketball coach at a local high school, used the video as a teaching moment for her team about handling pressure with grace. "Size isn't just about physical presence," she told her players. "It's about how big you can be in your response to challenges." Corporate training consultants like James Roberts began incorporating the incident into their presentations about customer service and conflict resolution. "Notice how he didn't just handle the situation well," Roberts would point out. "He elevated everyone around him." The video's impact on public perception of airport security procedures was significant. Charlotte Turner, a public relations consultant for several major airports, noted how this single incident had done more to humanize security personnel than months of planned campaigns. It reminds people that behind every procedure, there are real human beings doing their jobs. Aviation industry publications picked up the story as well. Lucas Anderson, editor of a leading travel magazine, commissioned an article exploring how humor and humanity can transform potentially stressful travel situations. What Shaq demonstrated goes beyond celebrity handling of public situations. It's a template for human interaction under pressure. By evening, the video had sparked a broader conversation about grace under pressure. Sophia Clark, a conflict resolution specialist, analyzed the interaction in a viral LinkedIn post, breaking down exactly how Shaq had transformed a potentially contentious moment into a positive experience for everyone involved. The meme culture continued to evolve around the incident. Harper Hall created a series of airport security-themed jokes featuring Shaq's quotes, while Emma Perez's animation of the incident became an instant social media sensation. The creativity sparked by the original moment seemed endless. Airlines began incorporating references to the incident in their social media strategy. Amelia Scott, a social media manager for a major carrier, crafted a series of posts celebrating positive airport interactions, using Shaq's example as inspiration. Sometimes the biggest moments come from how we handle the small ones. Shaq, security with style. The incident even influenced airport training programs. William Mitchell, a security training coordinator, began incorporating the video into his sessions on customer interaction. This is a perfect example of how maintaining professionalism while acknowledging the human element can transform a routine procedure into a positive experience for everyone involved. As the day drew to a close, the video had achieved something rare in the world of viral content. It had created lasting positive impact. Benjamin Nelson, a cultural commentator, observed that unlike many viral moments that fade as quickly as they appear, this one had sparked genuine discussion about human interaction, grace under pressure, and the power of choosing positivity. The story had evolved beyond just a funny celebrity moment at airport security. It had become a touchstone for discussions about how we handle daily challenges, how we interact with each other in public spaces, and how one person's choice to respond with humor and grace can create a ripple effect of positivity that touches countless lives. As night fell and airport operations shifted to their evening rhythm, the impact of that morning's events continued to reverberate through social media, news cycles, and personal conversations. What had started as a routine security check had transformed into a moment that reminded people of the power they hold in choosing how to respond to life's little challenges. The video had done more than just go viral. It had created a template for handling awkward situations with grace, a reminder that even in the most mundane moments, we have the power to choose how we affect those around us. As Oliver Green, a social media researcher, would later write, "Some viral moments entertain us, but the rare ones, like this, actually change how we see ourselves and our daily interactions." As the sun set on that remarkable day, the impact of Shaq's airport encounter was far from over. In the bustling newsroom of a major network, Charlotte Anderson sat at her desk, carefully crafting a feature story that would explore not just the viral moment, but its deeper implications for society. Her screen displayed dozens of tabs filled with reactions, comments, and analyses from across the globe. The story had evolved beyond its initial humor and charm. William Hall, a behavioral psychologist, appeared on an evening news segment to discuss why this particular incident had resonated so deeply with people worldwide. "What we're witnessing," he explained, "is the power of choosing grace under pressure." Shaq demonstrated something we all aspire to, the ability to transform an awkward moment into a connection point. In corporate boardrooms, the incident was already being studied as a masterclass in public relations. Alexander Mitchell, CEO of a major customer service consulting firm, had his team analyzing every aspect of the interaction. "Notice how he didn't just handle it well for himself," Mitchell pointed out to his senior staff. He created an environment where everyone felt included in the moment. Social media platforms continued to buzz with activity. Emma Roberts, a digital trends analyst, noted that unlike most viral moments that peak and fade within hours, this one was gaining deeper traction. People aren't just sharing the video, she observed. They're sharing their own stories of choosing positivity in challenging situations. The aviation industry took particular notice. Isabella Turner, head of customer experience at a major airline, began implementing new training protocols inspired by the incident. We're using this as a perfect example of how to maintain security protocols while preserving human dignity and even finding moments of joy, she explained to her team. In airport terminals across the country, the effect was palpable. Noah Green, a frequent business traveler, noticed a subtle shift in how people were approaching security checkpoints. "There's less tension," he remarked to his colleague James Phillips. "It's like everyone's remembered we're all just people trying to get somewhere." The educational sector found valuable lessons in the incident. Sophia Baker, a high school counselor, used the video in her conflict resolution workshop. "Look at how he chose to respond," she told her students. "He had every right to be annoyed, but he chose to create a moment of connection instead." Professional athletes and celebrities began sharing their own security checkpoint stories. Lucas Hall, an NBA player, posted about his experiences, adding, "Shaq showed us all how it's done. It's not about what happens to you, it's about how you handle it." Chaka, security with style. The incident sparked broader discussions about public behavior. Benjamin Carter, a sociology professor, published an article examining how viral moments of positivity can influence social norms. When a figure like Shaq models gracious behavior in a potentially frustrating situation, it creates a new standard for public interaction, he wrote. Late-night comedy shows couldn't resist joining in. Henry Anderson, a popular host, opened his monologue with, "You know security is thorough when they have to double-check Shaq. What were they looking for? Another Shaq?" The audience roared, but the underlying message about handling awkward situations with humor resonated. In corporate training sessions, the video became a valuable teaching tool. Olivia Mitchell, a leadership development consultant, used it to illustrate emotional intelligence in action. "Notice how he read the room," she would point out. "He turned what could have been an uncomfortable moment for everyone into a shared, positive experience." The security officers involved in the incident became unexpected ambassadors for public service. William Perez, who had conducted the screening, was interviewed by local news stations. "What impressed me most," he shared, "was how he made everyone feel part of something special rather than creating a divide." Parents found themselves using the incident as a teaching moment. Emma Sanchez, a mother of 3, showed the video to her children during a discussion about handling difficult situations. "See how he chose to make people laugh instead of getting angry?" she explained. "That's real strength." The incident's impact on workplace culture was significant. Michael Roberts, a corporate culture consultant, began incorporating the video into his seminars on workplace dynamics. This is a perfect example of how leadership isn't about position or authority. It's about how you influence the atmosphere around you, he explained to his clients. Aviation security experts found themselves addressing the human element of their protocols. Liam Hall, a security training specialist, developed new modules focusing on maintaining both security and dignity. "We can be thorough and professional while still acknowledging the human moment," he emphasized in his training sessions. The media analysis continued to evolve. Harper Nelson, a cultural critic, wrote a thought-provoking piece about how viral moments of kindness serve as social correctives in an era of division. What Shaq demonstrated wasn't just good humor, it was a masterclass in bridging divides through shared humanity, she argued. Mental health professionals noted the psychological impact of the incident. Ava Clark, a practicing therapist, discussed how choosing humor in potentially stressful situations can transform not just the moment, but our overall well-being. It's a powerful reminder that we always have a choice in how we respond to challenges. She explained, the business world found valuable lessons in the interaction. James Young, a customer experience expert, used the incident to illustrate the importance of authentic human connection in service interactions. Notice how genuine the moment was, he pointed out. You can't fake that kind of authentic positive engagement. Airport staff across the country reported a subtle but noticeable shift in the passenger behavior. Isabella Wright, a terminal manager at a major hub, observed, "People seem more patient, more understanding. It's like everyone's remembered we're all in this together." The incident sparked discussions about celebrity responsibility. Lucas Turner, a media ethics professor, noted how this moment demonstrated the positive influence public figures can have when they choose to handle situations with grace. This is celebrity influence at its best, modeling behavior that elevates everyone, he wrote. Security training programs began incorporating elements of human psychology. Charlotte Phillips, a TSA training coordinator, developed new modules focusing on the balance between security protocols and human interaction. We can maintain our professional standards while acknowledging the human element, she emphasized. The impact on social media continued to evolve. Noah Anderson, a digital anthropologist, studied how the incident had created a new template for viral content. What makes this unique is its staying power, he observed. People aren't just sharing it, they're learning from it. Corporate communications teams found themselves studying the interaction. Sophia Green, a PR director for a major corporation, used the video in her crisis management training. Look at how he diffused potential tension with humor while still respecting the process, she pointed out to her team. The incident's influence reached beyond airports. William Scott, a public space designer, incorporated insights from the interaction into his proposals for making security checkpoints more human-friendly. We can design spaces that maintain security while preserving dignity, he argued. Educational institutions began using the incident in their curriculum. Alexander Hall, a professor of communications, developed a case study examining how humor and grace can transform potentially negative situations. This is a perfect example of emotional intelligence in action, he told his students. The psychological impact continued to resonate. Emma Mitchell, a social psychologist, conducted research on how viral moments of positivity influence public behavior. What we're seeing is the power of modeling gracious behavior in challenging situations, she reported. As the day drew to a close, the incident had become more than just a viral moment. It had become a cultural touchstone for discussions about human interaction, grace under pressure, and the power of choosing positivity. Oliver Roberts, a cultural commentator, summed it up best. Sometimes it takes a big man to show us how to handle small moments with grace. The lasting impact of Shaq's security checkpoint encounter went beyond its entertainment value. It had become a reference point for discussions about human dignity, professional interaction, and the choice we all have in how we respond to life's challenges. As Benjamin Turner noted in his evening news commentary, in a world that often seems divided, moments like these remind us of our shared humanity and the power we all have to transform ordinary situations into extraordinary connections. The story had become a modern parable about the power of choosing grace, humor, and connection over frustration and division. It demonstrated how one person's choice to handle a situation with dignity and humor could create ripples of positive change that extend far beyond the original moment. By the end of the week, what had started as a simple airport security encounter had evolved into something much more significant. Sophia Mitchell, a social movement researcher, found herself documenting what she called the Shaq effect, a growing trend of people consciously choosing to handle challenging situations with grace and humor. The transformation began in airports, but quickly spread beyond. William Anderson, a customer service trainer at a major retail chain, noticed employees referencing the incident during difficult customer interactions. They'll ask each other, "What would Shaq do?" It's become shorthand for choosing to handle tension with humor and dignity, he reported. Corporate America took notice of the shifting dynamics. Alexander Hall, CEO of a Fortune 500 company, implemented what he called the random selection protocol in his leadership training, a framework for turning potentially negative situations into opportunities for connection. If someone of Shaq's stature can handle being singled out with such grace, we can all learn to handle our daily challenges better, he explained to his executive team. The education sector experienced its own revolution. Emma Roberts, a high school principal, observed a change in how students handled confrontational situations. "We had a student quote Shaq's about as random as sunshine in Florida line during a tense moment in the cafeteria. The whole situation dissolved into laughter instead of conflict," she shared with her district supervisors. Security professionals found themselves at the center of a cultural shift. Noah Green, head of security at a major venue, implemented new training protocols inspired by the incident. "We're teaching our team that security and humanity aren't mutually exclusive. You can maintain high standards while preserving human dignity," he explained to his staff. The medical field discovered valuable lessons in the interaction. Isabella Turner, a hospital administrator, used the video in patient care training sessions. "Healthcare can be stressful for everyone involved," she noted. "This incident shows how choosing the right response can transform tense moments into opportunities for connection." Social media platforms saw the emergence of a new trend. James Phillips created the hashtag #JewShaqMoment, which people used to share their own stories of choosing positivity in challenging situations. Charlotte Baker's story of diffusing tension at a crowded grocery store went viral. "Instead of getting angry about the long line, I channeled my inner Shaq and turned it into a moment of shared laughter with other customers." The business world embraced the lesson in unexpected ways. Lucas Hall, a negotiations expert, began incorporating what he called the Shaq strategy into his corporate training sessions. "It's about finding the human moment in potentially adversarial situations," he explained to his clients. "When you can make people laugh together, you've already won half the battle." The impact on public spaces was tangible. Benjamin Carter, an urban planning consultant, noted how security checkpoints at various venues had begun adopting a more human-centered approach. "We're seeing a shift from pure procedure to procedural dignity," he observed in his quarterly report on public. Space Management Airlines seized the opportunity to revolutionize their customer service approach. Henry Anderson, a customer experience director, developed new training modules centered around finding humor in tense situations. "We're not just teaching conflict resolution," he explained. "We're teaching connection creation." The psychological impact continued to ripple through society. Olivia Mitchell, a cognitive behavioral therapist, found herself referencing the incident in sessions with clients dealing with social anxiety. "It's a perfect example of how reframing a potentially stressful situation can completely change its Impact, she noted in her clinical observations, law enforcement agencies began incorporating the lessons into their community relations training. William Perez, a police academy instructor, used the video to demonstrate the power of de-escalation through humor. When you can make someone laugh, you've created a connection that diffuses tension naturally, he taught his cadets. The corporate training industry underwent its own transformation. Emma Sanchez developed a popular workshop series called Standing Tall: Lessons in Grace Under Pressure. The program used Shaq's security checkpoint interaction as a foundation for teaching emotional intelligence in professional settings. Public speaking circuits found a new favorite topic. Michael Roberts, a motivational speaker, built an entire presentation around the concept of size doesn't matter, response does. His keynote speech about choosing grace in challenging situations became one of the most requested talks of the year. The entertainment industry took notice as well. Liam Hall, a television producer, began developing a reality show concept centered around celebrities handling everyday situations with extraordinary grace. We want to capture those genuine moments of choosing positivity over confrontation, he explained to network executives. Academic institutions added new dimensions to their behavioral studies programs. Harper Nelson, a professor of social psychology, initiated a research project examining the ripple effects of positive public interactions. What we're seeing is how one person's choice to respond with grace can influence countless others, she reported. The hospitality industry found valuable lessons in the interaction. Ava Clark, a hotel chain training director, implemented what she called the big man's guide to small moments, a training program teaching staff how to handle difficult situations with humor and dignity. Technology companies began developing apps inspired by the movement. James Young, a software developer, created an app called Random Acts of Greatness that encouraged users to share stories of choosing positive responses in challenging situations. We wanted to create a platform that celebrates these everyday choices to be better, he explained. The impact on professional sports extended beyond basketball. Isabella Wright, a sports psychology consultant, found herself using the incident to teach athletes about handling public pressure. It's not just about what happens on the court or field, she emphasized. It's about how you carry yourself in every interaction. Security industry publications began featuring regular columns about the human side of security protocols. Lucas Turner, editor of a leading security journal, dedicated an entire issue to exploring how maintaining security doesn't have to come at the cost of human dignity. The education sector saw the emergence of new teaching methodologies. Charlotte Phillips developed a curriculum called Big Lessons from Big Moments that used viral incidents of positive interaction to teach social-emotional learning to students. Social media influencers found themselves part of a larger movement. Noah Anderson's Choose Grace Challenge encouraged followers to share stories of turning potentially negative situations into positive interactions. The challenge generated millions of responses across platforms. Corporate HR departments began revising their training materials. Sophia Green, a human resources director, implemented what she called the Checkpoint Challenge, a training exercise that taught employees how to handle being singled out or challenged while maintaining professionalism and humor. The impact on public service sectors was significant. William Scott, a government services trainer, developed new protocols for customer-facing staff based on the principles demonstrated in the viral moment. It's about finding the humanity in every interaction, he emphasized to his trainees. The V movement even influenced architectural design. Alexander Hall, an airport architect, began incorporating what he called dignity spaces into his security checkpoint designs, areas that maintained security while preserving human comfort and respect. As the movement continued to grow, Emma Mitchell, a cultural anthropologist, observed how it had tapped into a fundamental human need. In a world that often feels divided and confrontational, this moment showed us another way, a way to handle challenges with grace, humor, and shared humanity. The lasting impact of the incident proved that sometimes the biggest changes start with the smallest choices. Oliver Roberts, a social commentator, summarized it best. What began as a simple security check became a masterclass in human interaction, teaching us that every moment offers a choice to divide or connect, to confront or laugh, to diminish or elevate. As the movement continued to evolve, it became clear that Shaq's choice to handle that security check with humor and grace had done more than create a viral moment. It had created a template for how to navigate life's challenges with dignity, humor, and humanity. Benjamin Turner's observation in his weekly column captured the essence. Sometimes it takes a giant to teach us how to be bigger people. 1 month after the viral airport security incident, the ripple effects had crystallized into lasting change. Isabella Mitchell, a cultural impact researcher, published a comprehensive study titled The Anatomy of Viral Kindness, documenting how a single moment of chosen grace could reshape societal norms. The transformation was most visible in the corporate world. William Hall, CEO of a major customer service corporation, reported unprecedented improvements in both employee satisfaction and customer interaction scores after implementing what became known as the Shaq Protocol, a framework for handling challenging situations with dignity and humor. Airport environments across the country had undergone subtle but significant changes. Alexander Green, head of security at a major international airport, noted how the incident had revolutionized their approach. We've maintained our strict security standards while adding a human touch. It's not about compromising safety, it's about enhancing dignity, he explained to his regional directors. The education sector experienced its own renaissance. Emma Roberts, a curriculum developer, created a groundbreaking program called Standing, Tall in Small Moments, teaching students how to handle difficult situations with grace. We're seeing fewer conflicts and more connections, she reported in her quarterly assessment. Healthcare facilities noticed a marked improvement in patient-staff interactions. Noah Phillips, a hospital administrator, implemented training based on the incident. Medical situations are inherently stressful, he observed. Teaching our staff to find appropriate moments of lightness has transformed the entire atmosphere. The impact on professional training was substantial. Charlotte Anderson developed a highly successful corporate workshop series called The Height of Grace, teaching executives how to handle pressure with dignity. It's not about the size of the challenge, she would tell her clients. It's about the size of your response. Social media platforms saw the emergence of a new category of content. James Turner created a popular series called Everyday Giants, featuring stories of people choosing to handle difficult situations with extraordinary grace. His most viral video featured Lucas Baker, a retail worker who turned a heated customer complaint into a moment of shared laughter. The psychological impact continued to intrigue mental health professionals. Benjamin Carter, a research psychologist, conducted a study on what he termed chosen response patterns in high-stress situations. What we're seeing is a conscious shift from reactive to responsive behavior, he noted in his findings. Law enforcement agencies reported unexpected benefits from their new training approaches. Henry Mitchell, a police chief, shared how incorporating humor and dignity into routine interactions had improved community relations. We're maintaining authority while building connection, he explained at a national law enforcement conference. The business world embraced the transformation wholeheartedly. Olivia Sanchez, a corporate strategy consultant, developed what she called the Giant's Playbook, a methodology for turning potential confrontations into opportunities for connection. Her client list grew exponentially as companies sought to replicate the positive effects. Public spaces underwent thoughtful redesign. William Perez, an urban planning expert, incorporated what he called dignity zones into high-security areas. "We're creating spaces that maintain safety while preserving humanity," he explained to city planners. The entertainment industry found new inspiration. Emma Hall produced a documentary series called The Power of Choice, featuring stories of people who, like Shaq, chose to handle challenging situations with grace and humor. The series became a streaming platform's most watched new release, Academic. Institutions added new dimensions to their business ethics courses. Michael Roberts, a professor of organizational behavior, developed a case study series examining the long-term benefits of choosing positive responses in challenging situations. "We're teaching future leaders that authority and humanity aren't mutually exclusive," he explained. The impact on customer service training was revolutionary. Liam Nelson created a widely adopted program called Security with a Smile, teaching frontline workers how to maintain professional standards while preserving human dignity. "It's about finding the balance," he would tell his trainees. Technology. Companies developed innovative solutions inspired by the movement. Harper Green launched an app called Grace Under Pressure, providing users with real-time suggestions for handling difficult situations with dignity. The app quickly gained millions of downloads. The sports world embraced the lessons beyond the basketball court. Ava Wright, a sports psychology consultant, incorporated the incident into her athlete development programs. "We're teaching players that their biggest moments might come off the field," she explained to team managers. Security industry standards evolved to include human factors. James Scott, editor of a leading security journal, published a groundbreaking issue on the human element in high-security environments, featuring case studies of successful dignity-preserving security protocols. The hospitality industry underwent its own transformation. Isabella Turner, a hotel chain executive, implemented what she called the Big Welcome, a training program teaching staff how to handle difficult situations with warmth and humor. Guest satisfaction scores soared across her properties. Corporate communication strategies evolved significantly. Sophia Clark developed a crisis management approach called the Height of Response, teaching companies how to handle challenging situations with grace and authenticity. "It's about choosing your response, not reacting to the situation," she explained to her clients. The impact on public speaking circuits continued to grow. Lucas Young became a highly sought-after keynote speaker with his presentation, Standing Tall: Lessons in Choosing Grace. His message about the power of chosen responses resonated across industries. Educational institutions reported improved campus environments. Charlotte Phillips, a university administrator, noted how incorporating lessons from the incident had transformed student conflict resolution. "We're seeing students choose connection over confrontation," she reported. The healthcare industry found valuable applications. Noah Anderson implemented what he called the Dignity Protocol in emergency rooms across his hospital network. "Even in high-stress situations, we can choose how we interact," he emphasized to his staff. Social media influencers embraced a new form of content creation. William Mitchell's Choose Grace Challenge encouraged followers to document moments of choosing positive responses in difficult situations. The challenge generated millions of authentic, inspiring posts. The impact on professional sports extended to team management. Alexander Hall, a team owner, implemented new training protocols focusing on off-court behavior. Championship character. shows up in everyday moments, he explained to his organization. Public service sectors saw significant improvements in employee-public interactions. Emma Green, a government services trainer, developed new guidelines for handling high-stress situations with dignity. "We're maintaining authority while building trust," she reported. The movement influenced architectural design in unexpected ways. Benjamin Sanchez, an architect specializing in public spaces, began incorporating what he called connection points into high-security areas. "We can design spaces that protect while respecting," he explained. The lasting impact on corporate culture was substantial. Olivia Roberts, a workplace culture consultant, noted how companies that adopted the principles saw improved employee retention and satisfaction. "It's creating environments where people feel valued, even in challenging situations," she observed. Technology. Platforms evolved to support the movement. Michael Turner developed AI-powered training simulations teaching employees how to handle difficult situations with grace. "We're programming compassion into professional development," he explained. The transformation extended to customer complaint handling. HarperPhillips created a revolutionary approach called the High Road Protocol, teaching companies how to turn complaints into connections. Success stories poured in from businesses across sectors. As the transformation continued to spread, Liam Carter, a social impact researcher, documented what he called the exponential effect of chosen grace, how one person's decision to handle a situation with dignity could inspire countless others to do the same. The movement's impact proved that lasting change often starts with individual choices. Sophia Baker, in her viral TED Talk, The Giant Effect, summarized it perfectly. "We all face moments where we can choose our response. It's not about the size of the person making the choice, it's about the size of the choice they make." As the chapter in modern social evolution continued to unfold, it became clear that what started as a simple airport security check had become a catalyst for widespread positive change. James Hall's observation in his best-selling book, Choose Your Height, captured the essence. In every challenging moment, we have the opportunity to stand tall, not in physical stature, but in the dignity of our response. 1 year after Shaq's memorable airport security encounter, the incident's influence had become deeply woven into the fabric of American society. Isabella Mitchell, now heading the newly established Institute for Transformative Social Interaction, published her groundbreaking research on how single moments of chosen grace can reshape cultural norms for generations. The corporate world had undergone a remarkable evolution. William Hall, whose company had been among the first to implement the Shaq protocol, reported a 70% reduction in customer complaints and a 45% increase in employee satisfaction. "It's not just about handling difficult situations," he explained to shareholders. "It's about transforming them into opportunities for connection." Airport environments had become unexpected centers of social innovation. Alexander Green, speaking at an international security conference, presented data showing how the new approach had improved both security effectiveness and passenger satisfaction. "When people feel respected, they're more likely to cooperate fully with security procedures," he noted. The education sector witnessed profound changes. Emma Roberts' Standing Tall curriculum had been adopted by schools across the country. "We're not just teaching conflict resolution," she explained at a national education conference. "We're teaching children how to transform potentially negative moments into opportunities for growth." Healthcare facilities reported revolutionary improvements in patient care. Noah Phillips shared remarkable statistics showing how the new approach had improved patient outcomes. When medical professionals handle tense situations with grace and humor, we see measurable improvements in patient cooperation and recovery rates, he reported. The impact on professional training reached global proportions. Charlotte Anderson's workshop series expanded internationally, with corporations worldwide seeking to implement her methodologies. The principles of chosen grace transcend cultural boundaries, she observed while training executives in Tokyo. Social media platforms evolved to promote positive interactions. James Turner's Everyday Giants channel reached 50 million subscribers, each sharing stories of ordinary people choosing extraordinary responses to challenging situations. Lucas Baker's retail interaction video had inspired a whole genre of content celebrating graceful responses to difficult situations. The psychological impact became a subject of intensive study. Benjamin Carter's research revealed how conscious choice in response to challenging situations could rewire neural pathways. We're literally seeing how choosing grace can reshape our brain's default responses, he explained in his widely read paper. Law enforcement agencies reported unprecedented improvements in community relations. Henry Mitchell presented data showing a 40% reduction in confrontational incidents after implementing new training protocols. When officers approach situations with dignity and appropriate humor, the entire dynamic changes, he explained. The business world embraced the transformation as a core principle. Olivia Sanchez's Giants Playbook became required reading in business schools worldwide. Companies are realizing that how they handle small moments can have massive impacts on their bottom line, she noted in her keynote address at Harvard. Business school public spaces underwent thoughtful redesign with human dignity in mind. William Perez's Dignity Zones concept was implemented in airports, government buildings, and public venues across the country. We're creating spaces that maintain security while celebrating humanity, he explained to urban planning students. The entertainment industry continued to find inspiration in the movement. Emma Hall's documentary series spawned multiple spin-offs, each exploring different aspects of chosen grace in various settings. These stories resonate because they show us what's possible in our own lives, she explained. Academic institutions developed new approaches to teaching leadership. Michael Roberts's case study series became standard curriculum in business schools. Worldwide, we're teaching future leaders that true authority comes from how you handle challenging moments, he explained to doctoral candidates. The impact on customer service training revolutionized entire industries. Liam Nelson's Security with a Smile program was adopted by major corporations across sectors. When staff members feel empowered to handle difficult situations with dignity, everyone benefits, he reported. Technology companies continue to innovate in support of the movement. Harper Green's Grace Under Pressure app evolved to include AI-powered situational guidance, helping users navigate challenging moments with dignity. Technology can help us make better choices in difficult moments, she explained. The sports world embraced the lessons as fundamental to athletic development. Ava Wright's athlete development programs expanded to include extensive training in off-field interaction. Champions are made in how they handle everyday moments, she told aspiring athletes. Security industry standards underwent a complete transformation. James Scott's journal dedicated an entire year to exploring the integration of human dignity in security protocols. We're seeing that respect and security aren't just compatible, they're complementary, he wrote in his annual review. The hospitality industry reported unprecedented success with new training approaches. Isabella Turner's Big Welcome program became the industry standard, with hotels worldwide adopting her methodologies. When staff members feel empowered to handle situations with grace, guest satisfaction soars, she reported. Corporate communication. Strategies evolved to emphasize authentic human connection. Sophia Clark's crisis management approach was credited with saving numerous companies from potential PR disasters. It's not about avoiding difficult situations. It's about handling them with dignity, she explained. The impact on public speaking transformed how leaders communicate. Lucas Young's Standing Tall presentation evolved into a global movement, with leaders worldwide adopting his principles. Every interaction is an opportunity to demonstrate chosen grace, he taught. Educational institutions reported lasting, positive changes in campus culture. Charlotte Phillips documented how the new approach had transformed student life. We're seeing a generation that understands the power of chosen responses, she noted in her annual report. The healthcare industry continued to see improvements in patient care. Noah Anderson's Dignity Protocol was adopted by hospitals nationwide, leading to improved patient outcomes and staff satisfaction. Medical care is about more than just technical expertise. It's about human connection, he emphasized. Social media influencers embraced their role in promoting positive change. William Mitchell's Choose Grace Challenge evolved into a global movement with millions of participants, sharing stories of transformed interactions. We're creating a new normal in how people handle difficult situations, he observed. The impact on professional sports extended to fan interaction and community engagement. Alexander Hall's team became known for their exceptional community relations. We're teaching athletes that their greatest impact might come from how they handle everyday interactions, he explained. Public service sectors reported improved efficiency and satisfaction rates. Emma Green's training programs were adopted by government agencies nationwide. When public servants handle situations with dignity, everyone benefits, she reported. The movement's influence on architectural design continued to grow. Benjamin Sanchez's connection points concept was implemented in public spaces worldwide. We're creating environments that naturally encourage positive interactions, he explained to architectural students. The lasting impact on corporate culture proved transformative. Olivia Roberts documented how companies that embraced the principles saw sustained improvements in both employee satisfaction and customer loyalty. It's creating a new standard for professional interaction, she noted. Technology platforms continued to evolve in support of the movement. Michael Turner's AI-powered training simulations became standard in corporate training programs. We're helping people practice chosen grace in safe environments, he explained. The transformation in customer complaint handling revolutionized customer service. Harper Phillips's High Road Protocol became the industry standard for turning complaints into opportunities for connection. We're seeing how chosen grace can transform even the most challenging interactions, she reported. As the year marked the anniversary of Shaq's airport encounter, Liam Carter's research revealed the exponential impact of that single moment. One person's choice to handle a situation with dignity inspired millions to do the same, he noted in his findings. The movement's legacy proved that lasting social change often starts with individual choices. Sophia Baker's insights in her follow-up TED Talk, The Ripple Effect of Chosen Grace, captured the essence. Every day we face moments where we can choose our response. These choices, multiplied across millions of interactions, shape our world. As society continued to evolve, the impact of that simple airport security check remained a powerful reminder of how individual choices can transform collective experience. James Hall's reflection in the closing chapter of his book summarized the lasting legacy. In choosing how we respond to life's challenges, we choose not just our own path, but help shape the path for others. Every moment offers us the chance To stand tall in our humanity, to choose grace over grievance, connection over conflict, and dignity over division.